Mushroom!
Hello everybody, this is Warrior Dan. If you like the idea of a game where fat drunk old men on flying carpets beat up high school jocks wielding giant axes, and vice versa, while also occasionally screaming random and often hilarious war cries, then you've come to the right place. To all of you who are new here, welcome, and to all of you who've been here before, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at Mirage Arcane Warfare, the new game developed and produced by Torn Banner Studios, the people behind Silvery Medieval Warfare. If you've not heard of the game, I highly recommend checking it out. That's a very old game by now, but it's well worth a go. Now, starting off, I should disclose that Mirage Arcane Warfare has not been officially released yet, but it is currently in a state of closed beta. I was lucky enough to be invited to check out the game on behalf of you guys, and share my opinions on it here in this video. Before we continue, I do want to clarify that the footage you are seeing is from Beta 2. Beta 3 was released just a couple of weeks ago, as of the date I'm recording this, but I have not gotten a chance to play that yet, so we're just going to be covering Beta 1 and Beta 2. Sorry for the lateness of this video. Due to my college term finals, everything has kind of been on hold lately, as far as videos are concerned, but now I'm starting to get back on track, and you should start seeing a lot more videos like this over the coming weeks. I do have a number of first impression videos like this coming very soon. I have one on the new Hello Neighbor Alpha 4. I have another 2 or 3 videos on other games I'm not talking about just yet, but I think you'll enjoy it when they come out. Now getting back to Mirage, depending on how much content is added to Mirage, and whether you guys want me to cover these new changes, I may do a follow-up video on Mirage's Beta 3 soon. It's not on the schedule yet, but I might consider doing it. Also, I do want to apologize, just kicking this off, as I am currently fighting off allergies, so I might be sounding a little bit stuffed up at the moment, but setting that aside, let's get into the video. Mirage Arcane Warfare is a class-based FPS, featuring 6 playable character classes. The Alchemaster, who is a mid-ranged combat specialist, who can hurl various magical projectiles at enemies. The Alchemaster is good if you like doing some damage without getting too close to your enemy. However, if you like your men big, strong, and muscular, like I'm sure my friend Dr. Oktoberfest does, then your best roleplay option is to play the Tyrant. Wielding either an axe or a mace, the Tyrant is perfect for brutal close-range combat, good for drawing enemies' attention, knocking them back, and potentially getting some good kills if they get too careless. Basically, if you don't like really aiming and just like doing a lot of damage, and have a large health pool, then this is the perfect character to check out. Tyrants are good for controlling key locations on the map, while other classes support them from the side and from behind. The Tinker is the next hero on the list. Being your stereotypical gadget hero, Tinker tends to hang around the backlines of the battle, picking off low-health enemies, using her proximity bomb, which she can set down anywhere and is activated using a cooldown timer. She can also use her hook shot to yank enemies in the air towards her, so she can finish them off at close range, with a melee attack. The Vigilist is a defensive unit, using both a spear and a shield to shield her allies from harm. She can even throw her mighty shield, which magically comes right back to her when thrown. I feel like I could make a reference here, but I'm gonna take the high ground and restrain myself.
When Captain America throws his mighty shield, all those who chose to oppose his shield must yield.
The Vigilist can also spawn a protective shield around herself, summon energy waves to knock enemies off their feet, and be your team's ultimate source of crowd control. Finally, the Vipress, a stealthy close-range assassin, can use her twin blades to take out unsuspecting enemies, while also free to use secondary abilities like Phase to get yourself out of heated situations quickly should the need arise. If you like to be a sneaky assassin and take enemies out when they're not looking, the Vipress is the perfect class for you to consider using. Finally, the Entropist, which is personally my favorite class to use, is a close-range support character who can heal allies as well as damage enemies with both mid-range magical projectiles, as well as using his staff as a melee weapon. He's easily, in my opinion, the most fun to use, and I've spent most of my in-game time playing as him. I'll be honest, I'm not very good at this game, but I did have a few good moments with him, which you can check out here. Now, this game does have a number of game modes you can choose from, most of them being fairly common in the FPS genre, such as Team Deathmatch, Capture the Flag, Control Points, and other similar game modes that PC gamers have learned to associate with the FPS genre. But let's be honest here, unless you're especially lucky and are able to get yourself into a good game with players who actually know what they're doing, most of these game modes will ultimately turn into a free-for-all team brawl, as most of your team on average will mostly forget about the objective and just try to kill as many enemies as possible. Mirage does suffer from a few minor gameplay issues, such as the in-game hitboxes, which can sometimes be a tad off, causing some attacks to miss when they shouldn't, and in other cases allows some attacks to land when they shouldn't. Now, one could suggest that this is due to lag on my end, but this is coming from someone with a normally pretty solid internet connection and who rarely has issues playing most online games. Now, Torn Banner Studios has stated that they plan to continue adding new maps and other in-game content free of charge not only during the beta, but following the game's initial release. And they do have a good history of supporting their games in the past, adding new content over a long period of time. So I'm inclined to believe them when they say they plan to continue doing the same for their newest game, Mirage. Now, the question that many of you should be worrying about is, what options for long-term in-game monetization will Torn Banner Studios introduce? Given the existing cosmetic unlock system, I'm fairly confident we may soon see a loot box system added similar to that seen in games like Overwatch. Given the growing resentment from gamers towards the implementation of traditional DLC offerings, like the infamous Season Pass concept, I believe it makes more sense to implement a paid randomized loot drop system where you can unlock and collect various kinds of unlockable loot by either grinding your way through the game to unlock more loot boxes, or simply by paying for them directly via an in-game store. Overall, although the game is needing some polish in a few areas, I would still highly recommend it to anyone looking to have a good time in a semi-competitive environment. I only say semi because, as mentioned before, games tend to have a habit of devolving into a free-for-all bloodfest. And while that's not entirely a bad thing, it does not exactly scream professional competitive environment. I plan to keep my eye on this game as it continues its private beta period, and may even consider picking it up on Steam once it hits Steam as a full release. We're just gonna have to wait and see how this plays out. The retail price for Mirage Arcane Warfare is $29.99 USD, which is a bit on the pricey side in my opinion, given what's being offered. Personally, I'd put the price between $20 and $25 USD, but these are just my opinions. What are yours? What do you think of the game? Is it goofy and fun enough to catch your interest? Let me know now in the comments below. If you have any ideas for a game I could be checking out in a future video, please don't hesitate to tell me the name down in the comments below. Who knows, I may check it out, maybe not, we're gonna have to see. I do have a bunch of videos I think you're gonna be liking, so be sure to keep an eye out for those. Thank you all for watching, I do appreciate your support now and always. This is Warrior Dan signing out, peace out. Apparently my cat wants to say hi too, because he's staring at me while I'm recording this. Hi. Okay, signing out, bye bye.